Welcome to the Z Marketing Podcast. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, tell the audience, listeners who don't already know you, a little bit about yourself, what you're doing.
I'd love to. Let's start with a fun fact here. Hello, listeners. I am Pallavi Pande, and a fun fact here is regarding my name, Pallavi. Would you like to know what it means?
I would, yes, Pallavi, yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So, in my Indian cultural language, the meaning of Pallavi is leaf, like leaves. And I'll tell you, and I'll deep dive why I'm bringing this up. And it is because in the last 6 years, I have notoriously become the mompreneur who rescues leaves, and in particular palm leaves, and I turn them into your sustainable tableware for your events. And these are leaves that are on the ground. We pick them up, we heat compress them, and we offer consumers and businesses tableware like plates, bowls, spoons, straws, charcuterie boards, especially for the events where you hate the cleanup. Like, for example, I love to party, but I hate the cleanup part. And I also feel sometimes we all, with our busy lives, deserve the convenience of use and throw. And that's why detox was created. And this is a non-traditional spelling of the word detox, and it's a play on the word, hence a different spelling, a cool five-letter word, DTOCS, echoing with the meaning cleansing journey. And we're here to remove the nasty single-use disposables.
Awesome. And so it's a sustainable cookware. Tell us a little bit about, how that come about. How did you come up with this idea?
Sure. So I did grow up in India, and I'm from North India, like the foothills of the Himalayas. But growing up with my parents were travelers, and we used to travel every month, every other month. And that is where we used to visit the southern part of India a lot. And even today, if you or if your listeners ever go back to India to visit, what you will find fascinating is the hospitality or the way they serve food in the South India part, especially even at restaurants. If you're going for any South Indian wedding, they might not use plates. And don't be surprised because they might be serving you food actually on banana leaves, like actual green leaves. And that is a traditional culture that India practices even today. And that was the cultural piece I was very nostalgic about. And I was like, how do I experience this every day in my own home? How do I role model this to my kids? How do I teach them about how to use your fingers and eating with your senses and just having that experience? And I thought I can because we barely go to India. We really can't find a lot of banana leaves here in Indian stores. And even when we do, those banana leaves are fragile. They break, they don't hold food, they have cracks. So, what can we do about it? That's when I went back to India and I found we have a huge cottage industry for Areca nuts or betel nuts. And these nuts are used for mouth freshener, but the leaves of these trees are golden because they just fall on the ground and they are a waste and they go back to nature in 90 days. So that's when I found that for thousands of years, India has been practicing on using these leaves as plates and bowls. And with my experience of 10 years of experience in logistics, supply chain, warehousing, I was the perfect candidate to start manufacturing these products in India, bringing them here to the consumers and businesses in United States and scaling this product to other countries, other consumers. And that's what I did in 2019.
Amazing. I love that. So you had a logistics background. Had you sold other products before? Or, what gave you, tell us a little bit about your business background, how you got into, e-commerce and stuff like this. Because I don't think it was your first business, right?
You're right. So if I told you Detox is my third business, I did have two other e-commerce brands prior to Detox for like over the span of 10 years. And um, I did not have any knowledge about e-commerce, but then with my day job in the warehousing inventorying, I learned a lot about manufacturing. What does wholesale looks like? What does shipping between country A, country B looks like? How to ship stuff? What does containers look like? What does inventory mean? What does managing inventory means? What does planning of it mean? What does shipment look like? What does shipping labels? How to manage returns? So I did all of that field work, right? And then I realized I had my master's in electrical engineering from the Ohio State University. So I was always a problem solver, and I could see that problem every time I hosted parties. And I was like, I'm done. I don't want to clean up, or I don't want to feel guilty. So I was always in that mindset of finding solutions to problems. And I thought to myself, how many people are there like myself as consumer on the consumer end who go and shop for paper plates, for plastic plates, who feel it's a tiring job to find china where to rent and then return them and all of that. So I came from that mindset, and I was curious about e-commerce because I thought in today's world where we are so much on our gadgets and we have access to so much of information online, why not focus on getting to our consumer fastest way, efficient way through e-commerce? And that's why we focused on e-commerce more. And then we kept our options open for if we feel we want to have our products on shelves at stores. And then we realized our products can be very, very bulky and huge. For example, our largest charcuterie board is actually 22-inch, like this wide, right? So nobody's going to give me that space in retail. So we thought, okay, maybe not. Retail might not be a good fit, maybe for not that product, maybe for a box of straws. So we are still always looking for opportunities for retailers like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's where we could have some of our showstopper products on shelves that don't occupy a lot of shelves, or where the consumer walking in care about, okay, I need to go buy straws that are not made of paper, they don't get soggy, they don't disappear, something that works. So we were very careful in our approach. And then e-commerce was our way to go because I remember I said when I had the experience, I was also doing a lot of work online on websites for my two other previous businesses. So I had learned how to create a website, how to do subscription-based models, how to put listings online. So I was comfortable starting e-commerce, and that's why I took that approach.
Amazing. Now, I want to point out to the listeners, well, of course, there'll be a link to the web to your online store, your website in the show notes. But Detox is palm leaf dinnerware, compostable, sturdy, microwave safe, eco-friendly, sustainable, single-use dinnerware solution for a plastic-free world. When you started, did you anticipate that a lot of people were becoming more aware and conscious about the dangers of microplastics? Because that seems to be a really hot new, uh, it's not new, but a lot more people are talking about it. I noticed this year in 2025, as of this recording, and people are getting much more conscious of it and how prevalent it is in our food, in our dinnerware, and plasticware that we use. It's ubiquitous, and they say that like the average person in America like consumes a credit card worth of plastic or something a week, something crazy like that.
Yes.
Or was that something that you were already kind of leaning into, or when you saw the market kind of come to you, you started more emphasizing that selling point?
So I did realize there was a gap in the market because when I was looking for sustainable tableware options, and this is almost 7, 8 years ago, when I had thought of starting my own brand, I couldn't find much sustainable options. Even the sustainable options that were there in the market, as a consumer, what we don't question is when things say compostable or they say goes back to nature, biodegradable. There's a difference between biodegradable, compostable, and even when the word compostable, we don't ask compostable in 500 years, 100 years, thousands years, and even the percentage, 70% compostable versus 100% compostable. And that's where I became more and more aware of sustainability. And frankly speaking, as a child, we lived very minimalistic life. And I didn't realize that's what sustainability means, like living with things that we need, not what we want, and in a most minimalist way, not creating trash, being mindful, and having those habits is basically what sustainability is. It's not like you wake up one day and be like, today onwards, I'm going to be sustainable. It's literally a
Mhm.
life that you practice with habits and you live in a certain way, being conscious about the footprint you have on this earth where you live as a human being, as a responsible consumer. And that's when you take those little tiny steps and actions in your life. What am I consuming? Like as a consumer, where is my bread made? Where do my vegetables come from? Who's the farmer who's making it? How are they making it? All those questions happen to lead you to a sustainable lifestyle. And to answer your question, that's what I I was looking for sustainable options. When I didn't find them, I went back to India and I saw this cottage industry where this has been going on practice for hundreds of years. And I was like, why don't we give consumers who are looking for sustainable alternatives, especially with the new policies and regulations and laws, where it has become mandatory in the food service world, in the hospitality world, where the laws now say only compostables will be allowed at this arena or at this convention center or at this event. And people are becoming more conscious because they're spending more time reading, they're spending more time consuming, and now they care of what's going in trash bin, what's going in the recycle bin. And when you see more and more of that happening, and when the data backs you up, which is through Nielsen is the agency that gets you all the details or data for consumers that are buying products off
Hmm.
from shelves and retailers. And they say 66% of consumers, which is two-third of consumers, they care about what products they're consuming. And they also are ready to pay a little more premium for those products, and they are buying those at retail. So that clearly shows there's a demand. People are caring, people are conscious, and people are willing to change those products that they've been using for alternatives that are either healthier for them, for the planet, for and it's about like what's just not what is on my plate. Like as a consumer, I remember going to farmers market, buying my own fresh vegetables, or going to Whole Foods and really buying the tag organic because I don't want to eat
Hmm.
anything that's pesticide that's going inside my body. And so the same analogy goes for what's just not is on my plate, but was also in my plate because I'm consuming my food
Yeah.
out of it. And when we are spending so many dollars on expensive groceries, making sure they are organic and healthy, then why not the plate, right? In the same way how our clothing touches the skin and what are those chemicals they're made out of because they're touching our skin 24/7. So these are little conscious things that I've seen consumers are caring about now.
Yeah, a few things to unpack. I love the concept that not just what's on your plate, but what's in your plate. As a marketer, I really enjoy that. I think there's been a huge shift, like in the American market. I think in like the maybe starting in like the 80s, definitely when I was growing up, 90s, early thousands. I think the emphasis was on cheap, convenient, fast. There's been a larger swath of the market, as you said, about two-thirds, who now care more about things like sustainability, health, what they're consuming. It's not, things being ethical. Um, One question I would have is, do you feel that most of your target market are more of them doing this for the health benefits, or are they doing it more for the environmental benefits?
I would say it's a mix of both, but mostly environmental because, like, again, not everybody goes with the thoughtfulness of what's on my plate versus what's in my plate. There are some people who would still pick up products from shelves without reading, but most of us read the labels now. We care about those certifications like fair trade, or
Mhm.
where is this sourced from, or how is this sourced from. So most of us are reading those labels and we care. So that is what I would say. People who buy our products give a damn about the environment and at the same time their health. They want to be conscious about what's going inside their bodies. And again, if you're putting that on a nasty plate that's full of chemicals, the food is leaching on it, that beats the purpose. So it's a good mix, and people are conscious. People are reading the label.
Yeah, and a lot of, like you said, a lot of governments, municipalities, and even privately owned arenas, stadiums, sometimes as part of a marketing initiative, are doing more sustainability measures and requiring composting and sustainable compostable materials. So, of the products that you're selling, maybe you can get into some of the different types of products and what are your best sellers?
Some of our best sellers in today's market look like our charcuterie boards because
Mm.
these days, at most of the events, we have grazing tables, like our snacks have turned into cheese boards and snacking boards. So, definitely the wine industry pairs up wine with cheese. So, a lot of charcuterie boards are our top sellers. And then for caterers, we've been able to replace their paper, cheap paper, toxic plastics, and the boring heavy Chinaware rentals with our classy compostable plates. And I think to add to your previous question is also because those people, individual, those organizations, those businesses align with our values of, again, hiring women workers who help us manufacture these products. We're able to give them jobs. We're able to have an impact on their livelihoods when we give them this business and when we manufacture. And also at the end of the day, when we are composting these plates, it really goes back to nature in 90 days. There's literally no landfill. And then there is um, that piece that you can go to bed with, that I'm not creating landfill or I'm not adding to that, because in every um, and this is a real fact, every year in the United States, in events and in parties, you know how much landfill or how much trash is created? Do you have any idea on that?
I don't.
According to BBC, that's like 36,000 pounds of waste. And
Wow.
to put it into perspective, that's like the weight of put 150,000 elephants together, not the number of
Oh my
elephants,
God.
but their weight. So that is the trash created every year. And now imagine the scaling every other year around the world. We just talk about single year. So that's why people or these businesses or these organizations are caring about these statistics about how what we're consuming makes a difference, what we throw makes a difference. And that's why they're aligning with our values of what we are providing them in a functionable product, but it also aligns with our brand values, which is our mission. We are
Right.
trying here to remove the nasty single-use disposables. We're trying to replace them, but replacing them with what? We're giving them that option. We're giving them that sustainable alternative, because half of the problem is not that people don't know that there is this problem. The problem is, yes, there is a problem, but what do you do or how do you tackle it? What are some other ways how you can replace them with what? So we are telling them clearly with our branding and our messaging, and people are aligning with that, and they're supporting our brand because of XYZ values that we offer, which is we are the only brand in this palm leaf category that is people and planet first certified, that talks about our initiative to care about community, to give functional products to consumers in a most ethical way that we can.
Yeah, and I think also these palm leaf plates that has like an appealing look too, like a nice earth tone. It like makes things a little more I don't know, it feels more natural, just looks more appealing, the food on the plates. And on your website, you really do have clear brand messaging. It's very clear that this will help you minimize your carbon footprint, that it's non-toxic, it's reusable and safe and sustainable. And I know you sell both to retail as well as wholesale, so I guess like restaurants or arenas. Where are you seeing the most demand? More from the wholesalers or from individual buyers?
So we are actually a direct-to-consumer brand. Most of our sales still come from households, from smaller consumers who want to, again, not do dishes in their home parties or their barbecues.
Yes.
And that convenience, but not cheap convenience, right? It's like premium quality convenience without the landfill guilt. But we have a
Mhm.
good split between our retail customers as well as our wholesale customers. So the wholesale customers would look like chefs, caterers, event planners, wedding planners, vineyards, charcuterie makers, any nonprofits, any organizations, corporations who have events, because all these organizations have nonprofit and nonprofits have fundraiser events or luncheons or meetups, right? So at these events, what they do is they partner with local caterers and they order food. And now we can now work and subcontract or sub-collaborate with these caterers who provide food at these events. So we found different ways on doing a good blend between our direct to consumers and wholesale customers.
Amazing. So, I work with caterers as well. I'm sure you've thought about this already, but I see a really great market for certain themed dinners or certain, types of cooking classes or at cooking studios
Yeah.
or catered events that are
Yeah.
looking for a certain theme or serving a certain type of cuisine where I feel like these kinds of plates, in addition to all the other benefits you mentioned about good for the environment, don't have to do dishes, it's good for your health. I feel like it could also be a wonderful setting, part of the decor for a
Yes. The
themed
experience.
event.
Yes, and
Yeah,
now
sure.
you're taking it to this elevated level where it's like more than being a functional plate, the way you can elevate your offering of an experience, which could be a retreat, it could be a spa, it could be a wellness retreat, or it could be, again, a farm to table dinner experience. Any chefs that are trying to provide these culinary experiences. So again, we are here to offer that premium look as well, that classy look, yet being compostable, yet being functional, yet being usable. So yes, we do cater a lot to those kind of experiences, which elevate the level of hosting and serving food. Because at the end, again, there's no rental Chinaware, there's no handling properly. There's like, oh, be careful, this will fall down and break.
Hmm.
And you can still clean it up easily and put it in the trash without being guilty. Or if you have composting, even better.
Yeah, like it actually looks aesthetically nice. It's not like, oh, they're gonna think we're cheap with all these, paper plates, plastic, but like this actually looks nice and complements certain table settings or themed events really nicely. What's next for Detox? And also, or what other initiatives or interesting things are you working on at the moment?
Definitely working on our showstopper products, which is our coconut leaf patented straws, because they do last in liquids up to 6 hours, do not disappear, do not get soggy. So definitely pushing that product to market, to consumers, to bigger beverage industry is our goal. And then scaling is another good goal for us because the world needs this product, and the more we can reach out to other people, other countries, the better it is for the environment and us.
You can change the world one plate at a time. I love that.
One plate
Very,
at a time, one straw at a time.
yeah, and also, I know you're involved in some, you're in Seattle, am I
I'm in
correct?
Oregon. We are in Portland, Oregon. We're in
Portland,
Portland.
Oregon. Okay, and I know that you're a stalwart member of the entrepreneur community there. That you do a lot of mentorship. You've been very modest. You didn't get into any of that, but I want my listeners to know a little bit about what you're doing there as well.
Sure. So thank you for bringing that up because I've been able to reach my milestones in 5 years, and I feel I wish there was mentors and advisors where I could have saved all this journey that I went through. And I had to be very scrappy, and especially being a woman of color, first gen immigrant, I had to find out a lot of resources myself dealing through COVID, like how to do this, how to find that. And I was able to find all that resources. Now I just believing in paying it forward and volunteering and advising and mentoring some of my time to other entrepreneurs so that they can run with these resources faster than I did, and they have much more success stories than me because my success also lies with them. So it's really great and rewarding to hear that at the end of the day. So that's there. And apart from that, I do run a local group of moms here in Portland. It's called Portland Brown Mommies, very much inclusive of South Asian moms because I realize when I moved to Oregon, I didn't know of any South Asian moms, and I was dealing with a lot of postpartum depression. So I just created a community that I didn't have then, but I wanted to be there for others.
That's amazing. It's really paying it forward. Thank you so much for being with my listeners today and sharing value and more about your products, and everything will be in the show notes. And so anyone listening, watching this who wants to have a healthier, more sustainable way of living and eating, or wants to connect with you and learn more about your entrepreneurial groups and things like that, definitely go to the show notes. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, and feel free to offer the audience the coupon code DTOCS, DTOCS, and then the number 20 for 20% off and free shipping on any order on our website.
Awesome. Will do. Take care.